Following program is for training purposes in TV news education. Some copyrighted material is used and is credited on screen. However, no more was taken than was necessary to tell the story of the event. YBA claims fair use of materials.
Now let's move on to one specific area of need for the Patriots, the defensive end. Patriots only had 39 sacks last season, only more than one team in the AFC last year, the Jacksonville Jaguars. Really an insignificant amount of sacks for the Patriots. Now, we talked about earlier at this segment two defensive ends that come to visit with the Patriots, John Abram and Dwight Freeney. But another defensive end I think they should keep their eye on is Elvis Dumervil. A very weird situation how he got out of Denver. He agreed to a contract restructure. He had it all signed, but was not faxed by the 4 p.m. deadline on that date. It was a very bizarre situation, but now he is a free agent. I think the Patriots should strongly consider him. Any defensive ends you guys think Patriots should strongly consider?
Well, I think what they have to look for is they need people on short money because they already have Chandler Jones, who's their investment for the future, being young, and Rob Ninkovich is a Belichick favorite as he really works his tail off every week for the Patriots.
I think Abraham's a great fit. I think all three of those guys could honestly fit in.
Yeah.
I think Dumervil might actually end up back in Denver, believe it or not.
I would not be surprised.
NFLPA is working that out. We'll see what happens there. But I think Freeney and Abraham are two great fits. Abraham's motivated. He's somewhere on the all-time sack chart. He can get right in there. So he has motivation there. Freeney is still, like we said before, still got some gas left in the tank. Would be a good fit into the defense. He'd be back into a 4-3 rather than a 3-4. So I think either Abraham or Freeney would be good, and it would really make this offseason perfect. And I think the Patriots would have improved the Patriots' chances heading into 2013 season.
Short money, that's what it's going to come down to. Whoever will sign for less money, and I think it might be somebody like Freeney because I think Abraham's got more in the tank left. But they'll bring in, a bunch of guys. But this will be probably the biggest name that they bring in. I think they should sign Freeney, and they will if he agrees to short money.
Yeah.
Well, before we go ahead and sign any of these big free agents, I'd like to look at Chandler Jones. He missed 6 games last season, but in the 10 games he played, he had 6 sacks. I think when he was healthy and playing, he was a very good defensive pass rushing threat, and that was overlooked. Also, Rob Ninkovich, he had that great forced fumble and the overtime Jets game at home that won the game for the Patriots. I think he was overlooked. The Patriots have a very subpar pass rushing game, but I think if Chandler Jones is healthy, he can take it a little bit better, up better to a different level. And also, they have a good run defense. Top 10 in run defense last year. I like, the really big part is the sacks, but if they can keep it the run defense, I see no need to make a drastic change. However, if they do, I would like them to see either get John Abraham or Elvis Dumervil.
Yeah, I think it just, it's an injury league. That's what it is. And why were they good against the run defense? Vince Wilfork was like never hurt, right? He's always there.
He's a speedy tank.
Yeah, he is. And the pass defense, or as the rushing get to the quarterback, as you said, Jones was injured for a part of the season. That's just going to happen to some of these guys. Unfortunately, there are not many guys who are durable, can last an entire NFL season. And that's why Belichick brings in numbers, because he knows there are going to be injuries there.
Well, today we've had the privilege of having Mike Dooling come on to our show, and now we're going to ask him some questions about being a reporter, and a sports reporter specifically. So, Mike, Boston is well known for its being the greatest sports town in America, in my opinion. So what's it like to cover sports in Boston?
Well, it's very fun. It's very competitive. It's certainly not what it was when I got into it a long time ago. Very, very competitive, a lot more outlets with all the bloggers and all the websites and all the teams having their own, reporters covering. But it is fun. There's always something going on and always something big going on, especially in the last, as you guys know, the last 5 or 10 years, really, successful teams. They're always going to some kind of a championship. So that's what's really made it fun and really grabs the interest of everyone. So everyone's kind of watching to, kind of keep up what's going on with the separate teams. But even right now, we're talking about all 4 of the teams. The Red Sox are kind of in the bottom rung. We haven't talked about them because they were so bad last year. But everybody else, we haven't talked about the Bruins, and they're doing great. And the Celtics are doing pretty well, even with, getting a little older. They face Miami tomorrow with a chance to break their 22-game win streak. And the Patriots, everybody's always talking about the Patriots. The Patriots have kind of turned into the Red Sox. We're talking about the Patriots all the time. So it's a lot of fun, actually. It's And it's fun that the station I work for is so good. It's one of the best stations in the country, and I'm fortunate to be working for them.
What's the toughest thing you've ever had to do as a reporter?
You know, probably like knock on a door when something bad went wrong. You know, I think one of the last ones I did was something Randy Moss did that was, I can't remember what it was, but I had to go like,
who knows?
Right, that could have been a number of things. Went to his house in Rhode Island. That's not pleasant. Nobody wants to do that. But, you know, you do what you have to do.
What was your first time on air like?
Well, the first time on air in Boston, I was actually in Fort Wayne, Indiana before this. So, you know, it's always a little nervous. I mean, I'd done it in college, so I was really nervous the first time I was on air in college. But, you know, you kind of get used to it. I hate to say it's like brushing your teeth, but if you do things enough, I mean, you guys are all pretty comfortable here. You've done this enough.
Try to be.
So, you know, you're not sweating or anything.
It hopefully seemed comfortable to you.
Well, you do. You guys look fine. So the first time, I can't remember what happened the first time. I remember I did a live shot at the Garden for a bean pot, and someone put a hat on my head. It wasn't quite like that one, but it was something. You just kind of roll with the punches and move on.
So you've covered all sorts of different events. You've been in the business a long time. What has been your favorite event to cover?
Favorite event, you know, I really like covering college basketball just because the enthusiasm, the energy. You get in the NCAA tournament. Boston College has had some good teams. UMass had some good teams when Calipari was there and Marcus Camby. That was really fun. I mean, of course, Super Bowls are fun, but there's so many people there. You're fighting just hundreds and hundreds of media people. So I like kind of the amateur athletics as much or more so than anything else.
So, you
Go ahead.
What's the most exciting sports moment you had to witness in Boston?
Well, you know, it was probably when the Red Sox finally broke the 86-year jinx in St. Louis and actually won it. That was pretty fun because just looking at all the players, even though they couldn't appreciate 86 years, there were so many Red Sox fans in the stands too, and watching them just really celebrate. That was pretty fun and exciting.
So we are all young broadcasters. So coming up, what is one piece of advice you'd give young broadcasters out there who want to become sportscasters?
Well, I hate to be negative. I don't want to be negative. It's a tough business to get into. But if you have a real passion for it, you know, pursue it. You know, why not? I mean, you may have to start at some small market, which is fine. A lot of Boston kids think, oh, I'll just go to, you know, this station or this station. And you really get good experience going to a smaller market station. So. And you see things like this guy just crawling away. See, that's good. That's good TV. If we could just turn the camera around on poor Liam. That was very swift. I see.
All right. So we're still here. Liam left, but I guess we're sticking around. So we got some more questions if you don't mind answering them.
No, go ahead.
So what is your approach going into a losing locker room? I know that's tough. You know, these guys put everything into the game, so much emotion, and then just to lose, I know that can be tough. So what is it like going into that locker room? And you have to give a report, and you've got to educate the people out there on what this game was like.
Yeah, you know, it's different. You have to be sensitive. You have to be, you know, sensitive to a degree. And if you go into like a college locker room, actually, they hardly allow you into college locker rooms anymore. They always bring the players out. So, and you got to realize those kids are still kids. While some of the pros, you know, the mistakes, the reasons why they lost, you know, you want to find out what they think are the reasons they lost the game rather than you pinpoint the reason first. But yeah, you ask them best you know how. You know it's a delicate situation. There's some personalities that are more delicate than others. There are some guys who are just stand-up guys who will answer, you know, whatever you ask. So you got to kind of know the environment a little bit. That's what the hint that I would give to you guys.
Sometimes on TV you see a lot of interviews that just go completely wrong and the wrong questions get asked. Any interview for you go just completely wrong?
You know, not one single interview ever went wrong. No, I'm just kidding.
He's pretty good.
You know what? The only one that I'll tell you about that you'll enjoy, well, I don't know if you'll enjoy it, but the Red Sox locker room a number of years ago, they had just clinched the division. And we went in the locker room and still, when they allowed us to go into the locker room and go live. And I was interviewing a guy, actually Jim Rice, right here. And about 15 feet behind Jim Rice, there was a naked teammate. That went wrong. And we stayed on the air for about 2 minutes. Yeah. So I would say that's probably the best example of one that went wrong.
Pretty funny story.
And we went from being called News Center 5 to...
Nude Center 5.
You're right. Very good. Very good.
Now we know the history behind
Very
that.
briefly,
I've
that's
been
right.
saying that for years, and I don't know why. No, just kidding. But so why did you specifically decide to become a sports reporter?
Because I always liked sports. Grew up in a sports family and playing sports, and I just thought it'd be fun. And you know, overall, it has been very fun. So, and I was fortunate enough to end up here in Boston, which is, as you mentioned, greatest sports city in America.
Yeah.
We've been spoiled the past couple of years, but our parents always remind us there wasn't always this way.
I hear my dad every time. I had to wait 40 years for a championship.
That's right.
So I guess, do you have any more questions, Dylan?
I think I'm good. Thank you for that. Thank you for coming.
Okay, my pleasure. Thanks for asking.
I'm all out of questions too, so thank you very much for coming in today.
welcome.
Thank you all there for watching. Happy St. Patrick's Day to all you Irishmen out there. Until next time, for Dylan and Mike, I'm John. We'll see you later.